What's up guys, welcome to this review of Alita Battle Angel, a film all about a young girl called Alita who wakes up after being rebuilt and brought in from a scrapyard, only she doesn't have her memories. Who is she, where's she from, what's her past, nobody knows, kind of. So that's what the film's about. It's about her trying to reclaim her memories, figure out who she is, how she fits into this whole science fiction world. And what did I think of it? It was just alright. I don't think it's anything special. It's certainly not bad by any means. Some people are going to go see this and have a really fun, enjoyable time. And that's kind of all that matters in the end with this type of film. So it is science fiction, it is action, but the cost of that is, it feels like the story and the characters have kind of been ignored a little bit, just for the sake of the thrills and the excitement element of it all. So the story is very fun, like I said, but it's predictable. You can, beat by beat, you can see what's going to happen miles before it happens, and that's mainly because there's a lot of foreshadowing in this. A lot of conversations where it's like, oh, what's that? Oh, this is this and this. Well, you know that is going to end up being a thing later in the film. So it does make it predictable. A lot of the foreshadowing is a little on the nose. And I don't know if it's this film or if it's the original manga that it's based on, but it feels like a lot of the ideas and story elements in this film have been done before and they've been done better. There isn't much here that's wowed me or surprised me or felt all that original. And again, maybe that's mostly because of the original manga. Maybe a lot of other things have taken from that original manga, and now this film is taken from that as well. So I don't know where that is. I don't know when the original manga came out, but it's been around for a while. But because it favours the action and the exciting elements and the sci-fi elements over the story and the character stuff, it does mean that when it's not action-packed, when it's not being exciting and exhilarating, it's a little on the boring side. The story is a little bare basic, and there are elements of the story here where there's a lot going on sometimes, but none of the stuff feels all that developed or fleshed out. It feels like there could have been a lot more depth to what was actually happening. So it's a little disappointing that way on. It feels like there's too much going on at times, but there's too much for the sake of nothing. They could have really narrowed in and focused on something and went into much more detail about it, and they haven't done that. Instead, it's just a fun, action-packed film that most people will probably enjoy. And all the criticisms I had about the story kind of transfer over to the characters as well. The characters, for the most part, are one-note, stereotypical cliches. You've got the villain who looks like a villain, he acts like a villain, but I don't really know anything about the villain. I've watched this film. The villain is boring and bland, and Mahershala Ali, who plays the villain, kind of spoilers, not really. He does his best with the material he's got, but ultimately that material just isn't very good and interesting. That being said, across the board, the acting's pretty good. I don't know the name, I think it's like Rosa Salazar or something like that. I'll look that up. But the main character who played Alita, she's good. Christoph Waltz is okay as the Doctor, but again, he's pretty one-note throughout it, and that's not his fault, it's the fault of the script and the character that he's given. There's very little overarching development for any of these characters throughout this whole story in the film, and that's disappointing. The biggest weakness of the cast and the characters, I think, is the love interest character. His storyline and his involvement with the Alita's storyline is so predictable, so unoriginal, it feels almost shoehorned in. That being said, I think it ends on a little bit of a surprise. I'm not going to say what the surprise is, I just didn't see that coming. I thought they would get into something else. So that was an interesting little thing that caught us off guard. But ultimately the characters are a bit boring, a bit bland. They needed a bit more development, a bit more fleshing out. And I don't know if the manga is any better at it than what this film is. And it's the same with the story. In terms of production, the CGI is a mix of really good and really bad. Sometimes it feels completely unnecessary, other times it looks really quite impressive. But for the most part, when you've got all these big cyborgs coming in, they just look like big CGI video game characters essentially. And maybe that's what they're going for, but it kind of takes us out of this world when they have got like physical sets around them, but then there's huge CGI characters that just looks a little out of place. And this whole film has that like glossy, shiny CGI look to it, which I don't really like, and that's a victim of digital filmmaking. In terms of the action is the highlight of the film, I would say. It's fun, it's exciting, it is over the top. It's essentially Japanese style anime come to life, albeit with CGI. And the action, while fun and enjoyable, does get a bit repetitive. It is over the top, it's not going to be for everyone. For some reason, everyone goes on about how she's got this cool fighting style when all she seems to do is jump up and kick people in the face. Doesn't look like much of a style to me, but I don't know. And the action does its best to actually make this film more fun and enjoyable than it otherwise would be. And there's some really creative stuff going on there in some of the action scenes. The way they use gadgets and technology and so on is quite interesting at times. I mentioned before how this is essentially anime turned into real life with CGI. That comes with all the benefits of it being anime and all the negatives of being anime. If you're not an anime fan, you're probably not going to like some of the stuff in here. It does look and feel and work like an anime would. I don't know if Alita Battle Angel has ever actually had an anime film or a TV show or anything. Maybe it has. Obviously Japanese manga has its links with anime, so maybe, I don't know. But if you don't like anime, you might struggle to like this. But the film's pretty fast paced as well. It's got a good CGI, well, mostly CGI science fiction world there. It's a good introduction to this world. If they make some sequels, it'll be good if they delve deeper into it and actually explore it into a bit more detail. But this feels like they're establishing something and then they want to expand on that. The pacing of the film is really fast. That makes up for some of the sluggish, boring elements of the story and the characters. The action makes up for it as well. And that's ultimately what I think of Alita Battle Angel. It's okay. The action makes up for the weaknesses in the story and the characters. But some people will like this a lot, others won't. I'm not sure if I would recommend. And now I'm going to go into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film, go watch the film, come back, watch the rest of this, but wait just a minute. If you're going to leave, please subscribe to my channel before you do so, give me a thumbs up as well, why not? Leave a comment and feedback down below, let me know what you thought of Alita Battle Angel. And until next time, thanks for watching, but you can also, not just yet, you can also go to Twitter and Instagram and follow me at @the_Grant Burton. Right, now you can go full spoiler. So I touched on this a little bit earlier on about Mahershala Ali and the villain. I don't know who he is. The film doesn't do a good job of explaining who the villain is, what his goal is, why he's doing everything that he's doing. It's weird. It seems like he's being possessed by someone maybe. I don't know. The film just didn't explain it very well. Maybe I've missed something along the way. Maybe I blanked out for a moment. But the villain was a big weakness of this film for me. Then you've got the Doctor character played by Christoph Waltz. Again, fine, but it's revealed halfway through or something that he's actually Alita's father, or at least kind of her father. Yeah, it's all complicated stuff really. How it's he lost his daughter, built her this suit of cyborg outfit basically, and yeah, so it's a bit of a cliche. It's been done before. It's been done better before as well. So I was a little annoyed by that it was so just yeah. That was annoying. And I mentioned also the foreshadowing of the film. The foreshadowing completely ruins the end of the movie. The end of the movie takes place on this tube leading up to the city in the sky. Earlier in the film, it's pointed out, hey, the only way in and out of that city is through the tube. So obviously, at some point, they're going to go on this tube. And what do you know? They go on the tube at the end of the film. And of course, the big surprise is that the love interest character dies at the end of the film. So yeah, that caught us off guard a little bit. I wasn't expecting that, and it's the one thing I thought the film done pretty well, because I did not like that character at all. But yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about Alita Battle Angel. I was disappointed a bit by it. I thought it was just okay. The action scenes are decent. They make up for the story and characters' bland elements. And that's all I've got to say, so thanks for watching so far. Twitter, Instagram at @the_Grant Burton. Subscribe to my channel, please. And until then, thanks for watching.